Hi, everybody, and welcome to NAlitChat. I'm sorry that we are a couple minutes late tonight, but we are so excited to be back on the air. I'm Amy Evans, and we are here tonight to talk all about new adult books. New adult is a new category of literature. It's become pretty popular in the past 2 years. If you're just joining us and you don't know, it features protagonists and characters that are aged about 18 to 25, and it's about all of those situations in life that happen after high school and maybe before the rest of your life starts, when you're free to make a lot of mistakes and have a lot of fun. So we are here tonight to talk about the state of the market for new adult as it exists right now, because we're about 2 years into the trend and a lot has changed. I've got some people here that are really excited to talk to us about it. I've got ST Bende. Hey, ST.
Hey, Amy. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's good to hear your voice.
It is good to catch up. We miss chatting.
Yes, so much. And SJ Pajonas, who is here as an author, but also as a board member of the newly relaunched NAllit blog.
Yay!
Hey, everybody. Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
Yay, you're
Thanks
here. For having me.
We're so excited to have you. And hey, Chris Fox.
Hi, and you used my username too.
Hey.
It makes life so much easier.
I know, right?
It really does. So I just wanted to say congratulations to SJ and Carrie Butler and EJ Wesley, our founder, who cannot be here tonight. He's singing at a wedding, which I maybe shouldn't have shared with you because I didn't know he sang. So now
He is
you guys
singing at a wedding?
I don't know if he's singing in a wedding or at a wedding or.
Wait, how have we
wedding.
not heard him sing on air?
This is a problem. So you guys all need to send him some love, tell him we miss him, and we hope he's having fun, and we expect to hear him sing when he comes back.
Poor EJ.
I just blew up his Twitter feed
he's
in the middle of the wedding.
Completely singing.
Oh my God. We can definitely get him to do some karaoke in June at Utopia, but maybe we'll get a preview before then.
Especially if Amy does her dolphin clicks.
There we go, obviously. That sounds like a really bad match made in Disturbia. So I would like to just say, we really went off on a tangent with that. Congratulations. Congratulations to those two and SJ. I know that you guys put a ton of work into the relaunch of NAllit.
We did. We had a lot of fun putting it all together.
And if you haven't seen the new website, go check out NAllit.com. And I would just like to say that in the interest of full disclosure and in a bit of excitement, we've always had a very tight relationship with NAllit, mainly because EJ is, been very involved there and obviously very involved here, and we are all equally passionate about new adult. But we're definitely more formal about that now. You'll be able to find all the old NAlit chats on the new NAllit blog. If they're not all there yet, they will be, and that includes all the awesome video interviews we've done with members of the community. So you'll be able to meet people and see people, and we'll be adding to that content base along with some other people from NAllit. Chris, you're going to be doing some more videos with them, right?
Yeah, some kind of video content. We haven't really worked out the details, but it's coming soon, so be prepared.
Yeah, I know that the author interviews are it's so much fun to talk to people and to see their faces, and we do them sort of as part of this broadcast. So I know one of the things EJ mentioned was that you guys were going to be talking to more people and talking more yourselves, and I'm excited to see that.
And you can find all of those podcasts, all of those YouTube videos underneath the NA Up Close tab on the top of the website.
Right, exactly. And we're also going to be talking a little bit more later tonight about how NAllit has expanded and all the different genres and things that are going to be explored on the website now.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about that expansion, y'all.
Well, that is part of what we're talking about tonight, how our category in new adult has grown and what's changed. Anyway, we're excited about the more formalized partnership. We're excited because hopefully that's just going to mean tons of great content for you guys and with you guys. And hopefully it's just a big bonus for all of us, and it really keeps us all of us here that are part of the NAlitChat community, it really keeps us driving the market. I think as authors, we're responsible for what gets put out there, especially as indie authors. There's nobody telling us what to do and where to go next, and we've really helped to build this market, and we're going to help change the market. So to me, this partnership is really important in that respect. I don't know how you guys, do you want to tell a little bit about why you chose to get involved with that, and what kinds of new parts of the category you're hoping to explore with NALI? I know ST, you're particularly excited about that.
I'm just so excited. I mean, I write Norse gods, which are pretty obscure, but I guess it falls under paranormal. And for so long, I feel like NA has just been predominantly contemporary romance. And when the opportunity came up to kind of, I don't know, not explore. When the opportunity came up to just share more about this different kind of genre within the category, I was really excited, not only because I'm kind of passionate about the topic, but because it's a pretty big size platform for new adult. That Allie's been a big supporter of all of the things that we write, and now we get to talk even more about spec and paranormal and steampunk and kind of all of the things that we've been hoping would take off. So it's big.
It is big. What about you, SJ? What are you most excited about with what you're hoping to share there, and how you see that as a reflection of the grander new adult community?
Well, I love the fact that we divided up the different genres into teams on the website. We have a speculative team, a non-spec, a niche, and then the other media, which includes NAlitChat and a couple of other things. But I love the fact that underneath speculative, we've got paranormal, we've got fantasy, science fiction, mythology, horror. There are a lot of alternative history. There's going to be some steampunk in there. I'm just really looking forward to seeing the broad range of genres that we can explore in this age group, because I feel like they're coming out slowly. Like last year, it was some sci-fi, and there was definitely a lot of paranormal, but paranormal is definitely blooming, and it's spinning off all of these other genres like mythology and fairy tales, turning fairy tales around. I mean, there's just so much, and there's going to be a lot more to appeal to a very large audience. And even in non-speculative, we have contemporary, literary, historical, and suspense. I really see that romantic suspense is going to be huge this next year. A lot of people are talking about it.
I feel like they're looking for it because, Gone Girl's coming out as a movie this weekend, and whenever there's a big, hopefully it'll do really well, whenever there's a good film to book adaptation, I feel like it boosts the subgenre. People go looking, they remember how much they like Gone Girl, and they go looking for books that are similar to that, and while Gone Girl was not new adult necessarily, no. It still spills into our category because people just start looking for that across the board.
Yeah, on my blog this past year, I've featured a lot of cover reveals and book blitzes for other new adult authors, and I definitely saw a lot of romantic suspense come across my my email. So I think it's going to be, at least a lot of people have been talking about romantic suspense is really going to take off this next year.
Was that in new adult specifically, SJ, or was it just across the board? Oh, that's
I've been hearing about it in new adult. So.
Like a sexy Nancy Drew?
I don't know. We'll have to see what people come up with. It would be kind of fun.
I can definitely get behind the idea of a sexy Nancy Drew.
I bet you can.
So,
we're terrible.
What do you see? Oh, well, first of all, I want to know what you want to I want to know what you see as the reason that you wanted to expand into working with NALI and what you hope to see.
Well, it's funny because
broadcasted.
I followed NALI for a year, when I had first started writing in this category, and I really I like the community feel of the website. I like the fact that has always been a broad range of topics that they've covered. And for a little while, I got involved with a couple of other people who are now a part of the NALE blog team. We were thinking that we would start our own blog about NA SpecFic. And it just so happened that when we were thinking about starting that up, some big changes took over at NALE, and Carrie and EJ just talked to me offline and said, hey, why don't we all get together and make it into one big awesome site? And I thought, yeah,
Yeah,
that
right?
sounds like a great idea, especially since NALE already has a built-in audience. And it has been
growing.
growing,
A great reputation as well.
And a great reputation as well. So we're really excited to see it really open up.
Whoa. Okay. So, Chris, I want to talk about good news, and then I want to get your thoughts on this for sure. I see that Dahlia Adler has a new cover reveal this week, and that's exciting. We've got Agi Golaska said that yesterday she released the second book in her NA series, Tempting Fate. And if I'm missing stuff, somebody feel free to
I think that was Brenda Berry, actually, that
Yeah, that was Brenda Berry.
Brenda Berry, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry, I just had that on my website yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome. And we've got, let's see, Amalia.
We also have our own cat girl. She had her new article in the 2015 edition of Guide to Self-Publishing, and it's featured on the cover.
Ooh,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Congrats, Kat.
That is so cool. We've got Michael Simcoe. Oh, no. Is that Lindsay? I can't really tell which one of them wants to write a book on snarkasm, but I love it.
Michael wants to know if EJ only sings in the closet.
You know, I think, and D.A. Boda is calling him a closet wedding singer, which really makes me laugh.
Yes.
And we've got Amalia TD. She said her historical fiction debut, Helen of Sparta, by a pen name. Amalia Carusello? I might be botching that. But anyway, she tweeted it. She's got a new release, if you like historical romance. And we've got Colleen Hoover. Oh, okay. Lindsay Lewis is talking about trends in NA for us, and we asked that question, and we're getting some responses here. Colleen Hoover revealed her new cover today and continues her trend of great graphics, no half-naked models. I was really excited to see that too. We talked a little bit about cover trends a few weeks ago, so I would love to hear what you guys think is coming. And Chris, what do you see as the big changes in the market between like last year and this year when it comes to new adult?
As usual, things are slow because writing books takes a long time, but I definitely see that a lot of people are definitely starting to branch out, like we were talking about. There's definitely more interest in non-contemporary stuff, but again, it's very difficult to write that kind of fiction, and it's not yet the mainstream in at least our new adult circles, so whether that will actually take flight or whether it'll be a slow coming will be seen later in the year.
I feel like we've got a couple people. I mean, Alyssa Rose Ivy has been doing new adult paranormal for a really long time, for like a year now, and I know her books do really well. And she and Sarah Cannon, Jen Snyder, and Juliana Hager just released a box set that's sort of a Halloween spooky theme. And it's all new. In New Orleans, it's all new adult paranormal, and we have a new adult paranormal box set that a few of us are in here called At First Sight. And, yeah, I'm seeing, and ST, you're in another one, right? Or is that YA or?
It's a hybrid. It's crossover with there's YA and there's new adult. It's called Hidden Worlds. We've got Christy Cook and Edna Walters and Laura Howard. So we've got a lot of the new adult writers as well, and Mary Ting, but a lot of the really good kind of paranormally YA writers too.
Well, and a lot of those people, I mean, Mary Ting crosses over both as it is.
Yes, very much.
So PK and I are in a box set with a bunch of other science fiction romance authors called Nebula Nights, and we're the two that are representing the new adult category in there. So that's kind of fun too.
Very cool. So I would put box sets, honestly, as like a big trend from 2014 that was, sort of, we were seeing it a little bit last year. We had it on our upcoming trends discussion last year because I know we had Rain Thomas on the show, and she and Christy Cook, and who was it? Is it Reese or Lynn Rush? They had all done a big box set last year, and we were just sort of starting to see, and that was New Adult Paranormal, and that was cool. We were just sort of starting to see that working for people, and now it to me it almost seems like it's replaced like the free book for discoverability. What do you guys think?
Oh, I absolutely think that. I've got a free book that I have a hard time. I sell more copies than I give away, if that makes sense. Like my free book moves fewer copies than my priced books. But my friends that have done these sets, and even our At First Sight set that we've done, I mean, they move, and I think people are wanting more for their dollar now. And when authors are willing or able to group together and kind of share readerships, assuming that you have a similar readership with the authors you're in the set with, I really feel like it benefits everybody much more than just putting a free book out on the market now.
I certainly gained a lot of audience from the science fiction romance box set that I was in. So, and it was amazing that as soon as it hit the shelves, and people were reading, I immediately was getting sales of other books in my series. It seriously blossomed out of like nowhere. So I'm pretty sure it was a box set.
It's a win-win for everyone, because if someone has a really big audience and someone like me wanted to be in the same box set, I have no audience. So that would be instantly more people than I'm already speaking to reading my books or reading my at least style of stuff, so they can potentially read the books. So it's I can give away a ton of free copies, but whether those people come back or they were just interested, that's just why they're free, to see if they want it. But they get that same benefit with like 5 other stories. So if they end up not liking yours, well, at least you didn't, scare them off from the genre.
Well, and it's a great networking opportunity to meet the other authors in the set and to cross-promote with their fans, and to kind of just develop your own readership and your own network.
So what do you guys think about, I mean, honestly, like I did a box set for charity and it was priced at $3.99. It was great books and great authors, and we sold a decent amount, but I don't think, we did it for charity and it wasn't really a boost individually in the same way like a 99-cent box set is. But it's kind of sad, when you're selling a book for 99 cents, you're already not making money. So do you guys feel like the 99-cent box set is cannibalizing your market, or do you still feel it's like an investment that you recoup when you have a series?
I definitely feel like it's not cannibalizing my market at this point. I mean, I put in my first book that I wanted to discount anyway for the time being, so I don't feel like I'm losing out. I'm definitely gaining an audience. I think that the only problem with box sets at this point is that they are saturating the market, and a lot of people are doing box sets, so we're seeing a lot of them out there, and it's quite possible that it's going to be a trend that burns out extremely quickly. I'm not even sure it's going to do very well in 2015, but I don't have a magic ball, so I can't tell for sure.
It's a nice thing when people want it. If someone wants a box set and they're just like, I want like 8 stories right now, they can go get a box set. But most of the time people are going to go for like the full-length novel. The box set ends up being like those Valentine's like chocolate things where there's like 50 different flavors, and it's like, oh, I got that strawberry one, but now I'm going to have the coconut. You get all you want in one little package.
I agree. I think that they're awesome. I just kind of wonder if there are almost too many of them out there at this point.
Well, I know I hear people complaining about the price cannibalizing the individual book market, but I think the truth of the matter is there are book buyers sort of at every price range. You just kind of have to find them and train them. Someone who's willing to buy 20, or someone who will only buy 20 books for 99 cents is never going to pay $3.99 for your books unless they really like them. So you kind of have no other way of getting to them, in my opinion. I don't know. I definitely have mixed feelings.
Do you guys feel like it's more advantageous to do a box set if you're a series writer, or do you feel that people will buy your non-series books if they like your individual story?
I think that people in the box set that I'm in currently found that because they put in the first books in their series, that they did much better than anybody else who put in single books of standalones.
That's good advice then. So, Chris, what do you see happening on Twitter? Because I see it too, but I feel like you're much better at making sure we're in line with the conversation there.
So it's mostly just been talked back and forth that box sets are interesting and new. There's some saying that free books are better than box sets. Just general chatter. Basically what we've been talking about here. So what it boils down to is I think there's lots of interest. Whether that interest will continue into 2015 is going to be like the big question. You know, are box sets something we all should be doing, or is it just like a trend that will fade away soon?
Right. Well, speaking of trends, I think that, you know, we really are seeing some very large people in the game about to get into the new adult fantasy paranormal. Jennifer Armentrout is releasing a new adult paranormal book, and so is Cora Carmack. Interestingly enough,
Is that Cora Carmack is the one with the Muse, the cover that just came out last week? Is that who that was?
I believe so.
I believe so. I've been seeing some awesome new covers for NA Paranormal lately, and I was chatting on a Facebook group recently, and Diana Petterfrude was saying she was thinking that NA Paranormal was going to be really hot. So
it looks like Cora's new book is called Inspire.
Inspire. Okay.
But she is, and
but it is about a muse.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't remember the name.
No, it's okay. There's a lot coming out, and there's a lot to keep track of, and I think that at least the bloggers and the fans. I was just at Chapter by Chapter Book Rave last weekend, which was awesome. It was in New York, and there's another one in Houston in November. And just talking to the bloggers and some of the readers there, you know, there are people who want nothing more than the smexy, you know, black and white covers. Like, they will read as many of the more, you know, steamy new adult contemporary romances. They will read as many of them as they can get their hands on. They'll gobble them up. But there are other people that are like, okay, like, I was really into that for a while, but just like a lot of us tend to do, I'm looking for something new. So I want to know, I see some chatter online, people are really excited about Cora's new book and Jennifer Armentrout's new book, but what are you guys excited about? What have you heard that's coming down the pike from other people, from your friends who write, from people just like, you know, in general who write, that you're really excited about?
I'm hearing a lot about some interracial romances and multicultural books that I'm really happy to hear that people are going to be writing these relationships. As you know, like, I write Japan-inspired science fiction, so all of my characters are Japanese, and I write about the whole multicultural element. And I do that too with my adult contemporary romance, but I really like the interplay of different cultures and how they affect relationships, or how they don't, like how some people can slough off their culture easily in order to have a relationship with somebody else. So I'm really excited to hear about those. I've seen a couple of people talking about it recently.
I've definitely heard both a lot of people wanting to write more NA that has more diversity, but also a lot of demand on places like Goodreads and such that are asking for more diversity. They are tired of cookie-cutter characters, and they want more new stuff. Just give us new stuff. That's what readers are.
Yeah, I mean, I've even heard talk of some NA about, like, with some autistic protagonists, you know,
really?
people with special needs. This is really, really awesome to hear. I want to see all those viewpoints, definitely. Diversity is big.
That's so awesome
That's
to hear.
fantastic.
I know, I see Dahlia Adler said she's just finishing The Year We Fell Down by Serena Bowen. I don't know that book, but I'm going to check it out. I'm partial to Dahlia's taste in books. I think she always has good... She has good recommendations a lot. Who else is reading stuff that they're
Dahlia's writing to you, Amy. She says she's also super excited for more LGBTQ&A off campus by Amy Jo Cousins and Trust the Focus by Megan Erickson especially.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a big year for LGBTQ. I want to get all those letters in there.
Somebody recently said quilt bag, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess that kind of has all of the letters, but it's kind of funny sounding. Let's not use that.
She's saying Off Campus by Amy Jo Cousins and Trust
Correct.
the Focus by Megan Erickson, and I'm a big Nari Dawn fan. I think she's amazing. And Jessica Sorensen has, in her The Coincidence of series, one of the characters from the original books, like Seth and Grayson, she's got a book coming out featuring their romance. And I'm going to blank on who else is doing this, but I just saw another male-male romance that was part of a series that was like, 4 or 5 different books like Jessica's, and it just introduces that one. It's not making a big deal about it. It's just like, this one is about Bobby and Kelly, and this one is about Sherman and Tina, and this one is about Seth and Grayson.
I think that's Serena Bowen, actually. I think she's got the year we fell down and the understatement of the year, and then I think that she has another shorter novella that's male.
That is exactly what it is.
Delancey's talking about that online. Delancey Stewart. Okay. She says the Ivy Year series by Serena.
Exactly.
Yes. She says awesome writing, great stories. So go read that one.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely. I love to see. I would like to see more female. We don't see enough. I think about the lesbians. So, although I've been seeing some more male, and that's nice too. So it's good to see the diversity.
I think that both of those interracial. I hate talking about this kind of diversity with a marketing idea, and I don't mean it this way. I mean it from a genuine perspective. But I think for a lot of people, reading an interracial romance or reading a same-sex romance is sort of pushing the envelope for a lot of people in a way. I mean, one of the first books that I read that featured a gay romance was the David Levithan book, Boy Meets Boy, and I was sort of amazed at how it was I was just oh my God, this is just a regular romance novel, except it's with 2 boys. I guess it's just regular romance, except 2 boys in life too. Moving on, So that was a really eye-opening experience for me. It's always been one of my favorite books, and it taught me so much about, I read it forever ago, and it really taught me a lot about, gay men in a way that I hadn't really thought about their romantic side, and it felt a little edgy compared to the other books that I was reading just because it was new to me. So I wonder if that's why we're seeing, I don't know how much edgier you can get than 50 Shades of Grey.
It's kind of social edgy. It's this is not the thing we're used to seeing, but in the way that Modern Family is able to do gay relationships, it does it fantastically by not doing anything about it. They're just people. So when
that is such a great program.
Yeah, and I'll say this much. Gay relationships right now, super popular in literature. You look at any fan fiction, there's tons of just gay sex everywhere. Everyone likes to read it, and if someone's smart enough to just write a romance novel, but the characters happen to be gay, of any gender, and same thing with interracial, it's just people. So these things are really popular right now. People are looking for them, but we just haven't seen a major release in our category yet. So writers, get on that. You might be the next bestseller, just saying.
Yeah, Inger Iverson has a really pretty interracial prison romance that is out, and I know Regina Wamba has been shooting some stock footage that she's hoping people will use on covers that's got some killer interracial couples on there. That they're just really, her photography is always gorgeous and her models always look amazing. But these pictures are especially, really dramatic, and hey, go for it.
That's good because they're the hardest ones to find.
They are the hardest ones to find.
You sent out some comment once, SJ. It was so funny. It was I'm so grateful I could find exactly 2 stock photos that would fit my model. I was yeah.
Well, I have this Japanese couple on this one, and then I have a Korean man and a white woman on this one.
I guess that's my cover. Yay!
Even Kat, who is, she's done urban sci-fi as long as I've known her, and she's doing a mythology, fantasy, romance serial. So I think everybody's everybody's breaking out of the mold. KK Hendon said last year she was running Contempt. Now she's doing all the genres.
Oh, and Mina's going the opposite way. She says, I'm branching out too, but in the other direction, from Asian setting, new adult to U.S. setting, at least for my next 4 books, ...
I'm also seeing like a reverse trend in that people like me who are doing sci-fi are moving toward contemporary for a little bit. Same thing with EJ. He's doing he had the sports book, and I think he said something about a contemporary romance, although those might be the same one. I don't remember.
They are.
We're having a lot of people, going back the other way. And I'm still going to do fantasy and sci-fi because I'm a nerd and that's just what I do. But the market's there, and I enjoy writing that stuff anyway, so why not?
Yeah, I'm moving on to after the series is over to do some any contemporary romance. But as per usual, I will still be writing interracial and multicultural because that's sort of my jam.
I have a NA contempt that I'm writing, and I'm deliberately ignoring any mentions of race. I don't know how well that's going to work, but that's my goal initially because I feel like we'll see how that affects the cultural aspect. But at the moment, I'm working on another project where there was a deliberate choice made, and I sort of feel like that's exciting, but I also want to just focus on the story and see how long I can get away with ignoring it. Because I think sometimes people like to imagine whatever they would like to imagine. Jules Dixon is saying she's reading more male, female, and it looks like she'd like to see more committed polyamorous relationships. And if you look at Dahlia Adler's new cover, it looks like there's 2 girls kissing on there. So there you go, Steph.
And because I somehow poisoned the well 7 or 8 streams ago, Michael Simcoe's also mentioning that interspecies reptilian stuff really hot. If you want to get on that dino porn.
Michael Simcoe.
And he's bucking the trend, and he's leaving series in both reading and writing. He wants standalone. I think that's actually not bucking the trend. I think that is definitely one of the trends that I've seen kind of explode this year, and that's people writing in worlds. But the books are not necessarily serialized in the traditional way where there might be cliffhangers or the story is the same 2 characters over 3 books. Like we talked about this briefly just in the chat last week, Abby Glines has her series where she writes about a different couple living in the same town, and Samantha Young does the same thing. And, I wonder if we're still going to see that.
Or taking a third character, a side character from a book, and then writing a whole book on them. And it's standalone, and you could read both of them and enjoy them both, or you could read them on their own. That's kind of fun, too.
Well, and Abby hybrids it, and she does it so well. She's got, it's essentially a series, so you follow one couple over 3 books, but then she takes another couple and does a spin-off with them, so you can stay in her world for as long as you want, but still feel like you've gotten a conclusion on that story and step aside if you want to when you reach the end of that one series.
Yeah, it's a very important tactic for authors to have, because you can have the Keith Sutherland effect where, 24 has had how many seasons, and he saved the world how many times? Your characters can only do so much. So having that same cohesive world that exists within your narrative, but being able to use other characters within that world is super convenient, because you don't got to re-research your world. You can just use the same thing.
Right. Well, and I get very attached to fictional characters. We probably all do. That's why we read them and write them.
They're real in your head.
Absolutely.
They talk to you at 2 in the morning, and you can't just let them go.
I know, and sometimes they didn't even originate from my head. They're from somebody else's head, and that's the biggest compliment of all, right? But I like when I can continue to read about people in the world. Nora Roberts is certainly the master of that. She's got families that she'll write 12 or 14 books about, sometimes totally different generations, etc. But I don't always stay as committed to a series when I have the opportunity to skip around. I will admit that. But
Amy Evans steps out on her book boyfriends.
I do. I'm so sorry. But the thing that I wonder is, is that people at the moment, I feel like they're doing that, again, it's a really good strategy. You have to keep your audience in one way, shape, or form. You don't want to write for your audience, but it can be so hard to get a new book out there, even for really established authors. I know that lately they've been saying, I've been hearing a lot of whisperings that like all the promo in the world isn't necessarily helping, and launching new series is so daunting. So maybe these little novellas or these glimpses into different characters in the same world, like maybe they're a good way to sort of fuel the energy from both sides, from the reader side and the writer side. You can't like beat a dead horse with a series. You can't take the story way beyond where it belongs. But those other characters in the side novels, they really give people a lot of room to play and a lot of room to keep an audience. And let's face it, if you're in this to make a living, you do have to consider that a little bit.
Well, and as a writer, sometimes you think that the readers are going to connect with one character, and it turns out there's some tangential character you never even saw coming that they just love. And that,
Absolutely.
Just kind of gives you the chance to, okay, let's go with that one.
Yeah, and that is kind of exciting, to me at least. I don't know. I know some people are like, well, I don't care. That's not it. But that's not.
I love expanded universes. Like most of my stories that are being written, like in the background, they're all going to tie in somehow together, even if they're just like super disparate. They're just still going to have some sort of tie-in.
Right. Well, I mean, I think like we all have those themes. We all have those themes where, I mean, all my books take place at a beach. They might be totally different. It might not all be about the beach. Even the middle grade novel I wrote takes place at the beach. There's no mythology. There's no nothing. But that's clearly a through line for me. Do you guys have, and Chris, you've got a through line. I mean, ST, are you always going to write about Norse gods, do you think?
I am always going to write about Norse gods. I just am. And they are all going to look like Skarsgård in my head, and that makes it okay.
And SJ, you already said, you have a big, your jam is interracial romance, and and multiculturalism, and that's super important to you.
Absolutely, and especially Asian cultures, like in Japan. I mean, the next contemporary romance I want to write will take place in Japan. So, I kind of I feel like that's just the place that I want to inhabit, at least for quite some time.
Well, and let's face it, authors, if you haven't already figured this out, if you're writing about places that you really want to visit, you get to visit, as a business trip, and that's critical. Have you figured that out yet?
No, I really want to go on vacation, but, we have 2 kids, and we have to take them with us, so.
Right. Well, but, it's a working vacation. You can still get pictures, and can't maybe, do everything your characters would do there if you have 2 kids and there's no kids in your book. But it's a great way to maybe get to pay a little bit of your pre-tax dollars towards business.
Hint, wink, wink.
My husband and I had a discussion last night about getting passports for the kids, so let's hope so.
Yay!
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 So since my interest is obviously fantasy and sci-fi, SJ, I would like to know what your ideas on their trends are going to be, because we've already talked about paranormal. We've talked about contemporary. What do you think about fantasy and sci-fi and new adult?
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like, because I feel like paranormal is kind of skirting sometimes between fantasy and just normal paranormal.
Yeah, it can drift between. Like we're kind of like accustomed to seeing Twilight and stuff like that, where it's just like it's sort of contemporary, but oh my God, there's magic and stuff. But I
feel like a lot of authors lately have been talking about redoing old stories. So redoing fairy tales. I'm seeing a lot of retellings of old stories, which is kind of fun. And I think that a lot can be done either in fantasy or in science fiction. But I feel like I'm not seeing enough science fiction. I'm seeing a ton of fantasy and paranormal. But then, here's one. Ann Tibbetts has been writing the Carrier series. At least the first book in her series is called Carrier, and that's great new adult spec fic. I'm seeing. And she has got a second book in that series coming out. But I feel like science fiction is not as well represented. So let's find some people who really want to write it.
Do you
Who on
think
Twitter? Let's see if Twitter can tell me about more science fiction, a new adult that's coming out soon.
Well, I think also the definition of science fiction is different for everybody because, like, Chris, your books are space operas, basically.
Yes.
Yes, but space opera is like a subset of science fiction.
Right.
What subset is your books, SJ? Are your books?
My book, I generally consider them like colonization novels because it talks about like picking up from Earth and colonizing another planet. And there's a lot of different kinds of science fiction. You've got like the hard science fiction, which is a non-new adult. I just read recently The Martian, which was fantastic, but that was very hard science fiction. It's using a lot of science, using a lot of you think about Arthur C. Clarke and all of the greats, Isaac Asimov. These are all like the science fiction authors. Ben Bova, Robert Heinlein. So, but I'm seeing a lot more of the soft science fiction. So if you fold in romance, you can get more of the soft science fiction in there. You can space opera, which is a lot of science fiction amongst many planets. Usually, like it's all about the journey from one place to another. And
like
then
Star Wars.
Yes, like Star Wars is definitely a space opera. If you think about it, sort of, Star Trek is also a space opera. They're always exploring a new planet, a new society, alien culture. And then you have things like colonization or dystopian novels are also a part of science fiction. So a dystopian has been big like the past like 5 to 7 years, especially in young adult. So I would love to see that more come up into new adult, even though I feel like it was so tapped out in the young adult market, it might burn out before we see too much of it.
The thing to me with dystopian and new adult is that all the dystopian young adults sort of read like new adult books to me because they're very rarely. I mean, if you look at like just Divergent, the Hunger Games, to me they read like new. You know, you're not talking about cafeteria politics. You're not talking about all the things that are tentpoles of traditional YA. The stakes are automatically higher. The world no longer looks the way that it did when you were, in high school and trying out for cheerleading. So
exactly, and they're throwing these protagonists into extremely like dangerous situations usually. So we get to see them basically fight or run for their lives. So the stakes are extremely high. And the worlds are definitely usually well built, so you get a chance to really inhabit a new place and time, which is kind of fun too. This was all the reasons why I like writing science fiction. So
that's why I like reading science fiction too. I mean, for me, I really like reading. I like to escape. I don't, and sometimes I'll get very caught up in contemporary romance. But like one of the first, and sometimes I'll get very burnt out on reading worlds that are like mine. So. I guess it'll be interesting to see if anybody knows any dystopian new adult books that they can recommend or that we've missed out on. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I put my books into several different categories on Amazon. I classified it as a dystopian, even though it's not, because it's a benevolent government. But it's sort of end of the world, post-apocalyptic, so it falls in there somewhere. It's it's a nice murky gray area sometimes.
Yeah, very
you can sort of put your novel in a couple of different areas and still have it do well. It's fun.
One of the reasons that I wanted to participate in NAllie, and one of the reasons that I always love doing this show, is because the biggest challenge that I think people have seen this year, and this feels like it's changing minute by minute, is that people earlier this year were apologizing for lack of sex in their new adult books.
That was me.
Yeah, well, not just you. There's a lot of people that were sort of in this area where they were trying to attract the people who found new adult sort of as a genre first and hadn't really decided to expand it into a category for their own particular tastes. And now I think we've all worked really hard to grow. I mean, the market for a new adult has grown. It gets so much press. It was on the cover of, on the cover of The Atlantic or the Library Journal. I mean, it's gotten a lot of traditional press lately. So more and more people are finding out about it. I'll have people that are not in the book world at all that asked me like last year what I'm up to, and I was like, oh, I do this thing with this new adult lit chat thing, and now they're coming up to me like 6, 8, 12 months later going, oh, guess what? I read my first new adult book. Now I know what you're talking about. And, you know, this is not a conversation that I've had with them recently. So it all trickles down in society. But that's one of the reasons for me that I love the idea of working with NALI to kind of like expand ways for authors to get the word out about different genres that they want to write in the new adult category. So SJ, what are some ways that people can sort of work with NALI authors and bloggers? I asked our Twitter audience to give some shout outs to the other bloggers that do spread the word about new adult really well, because as much as we love the alley, there's lots of great people that have come up in the past 2 years that have been really great for the category. But, you know, what are the ways that people can work with NALI to try to educate people about their new genres in new adult?
Well, we do offer some things on the website that are helpful to people who are looking for NA. So we have a resources page, which is currently being cleaned up. I apologize that it is so long. It is a very long page, full of great resources, like a catalog of new adult reads. We're going to make that easier to submit to so that people can get their books on this page, and therefore with some keywords also, so that people can search for them and find them here. And we have a small list of book bloggers also that write a lot that specialize in the new adult area. So we'd love to add to that list as well. But the main things that people can do to actually get stuff from the NALI is to like subscribe to the blog, subscribe to the newsletter, so and then share your news with us. There's a share your news at the top of the website. You click on that, you submit your information about a new release, about a sale, about freebies, and let us know what's going on so that we can post about it and we can get the word out. I've had some people try to message us through our Facebook page, and I would steer people away from that because that's not like the best way to contact us. It's definitely coming to the website, clicking on share your news, and getting us the information all in one spot so that we can post about it and get the information up for everybody else. So that they can find it. So if you tell people, to Google new adult or to find, or to just go straight to our site, they can find books that they're interested in right with us.
That's pretty cool. And I think, again, the goal for everybody involved with NALI, and there's 31 people, and it's in line with the goal of NAlitChat, and there are, 5 of us full-time here. We just brought on Lindsay Lewis as well, who's going to come onto our production team. And there are so many of you guys that are here every week that we consider a part of our team because we've all been working together to build this community for so long. And that's just really symbolic to me that now, 31 people want to write about all these different fragments in the market because there are such great books that are coming down the pike, and we need to help spread the word.
Right. I mean, we have a blog, like a schedule for what we'll be posting about. The first Monday and first Thursday of every month is a post about speculative, and each one of we call them the ambassadors, the people who oversee each one of these sections of the website. They all have like a team of authors or writers who are going to write on specific topics within that category, within that genre, underneath new adult. So the second and the third Thursday, second Monday and second Thursday of every month is non-speculative. The third Monday and third Thursday is niche, and then we talk about some other business on other weeks of the month. So if you subscribe and you listen in and you see authors talking about different genres or subjects that you're interested in, it'll give you a good idea of who you might want to check out when you're out shopping for a new book.
Very cool. So, ST, give
Yes,
me
ma'am.
your wish list. Like, what new adult books do you want to see coming down the pike this year? Like, what do you hope people are going to start writing because you'll buy them and snatch them up?
Well, we all know I'm light and fluffy, so I would like to see some more new adult chick lit, please.
Awesome.
You know, like that just the post-collegiate or the collegiate kind of happy friendship stories that, you know,
Cool.
I like the light and the fun and I don't know, I don't really want to get that heavy right now. I just like being entertained. So it would be really great to see more of those college stories that were just a little bit more in the shopaholic vein.
Okay, I like that idea. So, but you're still thinking contemporary. You would still like more of that, just like on the lighter, sweeter,
on the lighter,
friend
sweeter
zone
side. Yeah, I'm a sucker for all the fairy tale stuff, so I love the retellings. I love the reimaginings. I know Starla's got her gender mashup coming of Snow White.
So excited for that. I
am
wait.
too. Like, the whole Once Upon a Time type thing, I'm in love with it. So I'd love to read more fairy tales. Anything mythological I'll read. Yeah. We know that.
And Shanda Han, I mean, this is not new adult at all, but Shanda Han has a new book coming out, and hers are amazing. Like her Fable series, she's got, I think, Rain, the 4th book, and Rochelle Workman, who does Fractured Fairy Tales, like all these people. And if you want like really steamy new adult fairy tale retellings, Ella James is on her 3rd series. I think she's done A Beauty and the Beast, A Little Red Riding Hood, and now she's on Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, wow.
And they are great, and they are hot. Probably not exactly what you're asking for with light and fluffy.
With light, fluffy retellings of fairy tale.
But I'm saying this for people who like ST, like fairy tale retellings, but who might want a little more steam.
Right.
Because there's something for everybody.
There is.
And she's been releasing them like really quickly, and she's got really interesting takes on them. And I mean, Ella's one of those people. She writes across the board, like under the same name. She's got she's got YA, she's got NA that's not super steamy, and she's got this. So she's really taking it all and just getting it done. So what about you, Chris? What's on your wish list for like trend watch, like what you want to see coming, into your inbox as far as like new adult that's going to get written by you?
I'll be the opposite of ST. I want some heavy. I want some super diverse, some crazy genres, some like crazy casts of characters, LGBTQ, of course, and just throw everything at me. More of everything. Half
Asian, half African American, blind, gay, who speaks Martian. Does that work for you?
That'll work for me.
In a very serious situation?
Exactly. If that person has to save the world, we have just the World Cup.
Oh, yay! Okay.
And Marvel shall produce it all.
Probably.
But no, like since I just specialize in fantasy and sci-fi, that's my big thing. I want to see some really good, potentially steamy, if you want it to be, NA sci-fi and fantasy. That's the big thing on my wish list.
So for you're sort of like, you care much more about the story world details, and if there happens to be steam in there, that's great. If there doesn't, you don't miss it. But you're looking for details.
Yeah, if you tell me a good, compelling narrative, it doesn't matter what the age group is, but I really want to see it in this age group. Yeah. I really want to see it in this category.
Yeah, I'm with you. And what about you, SJ? Where's your wish list?
You know what? Even though I said like I really want to see some more sci-fi next year, I'm feeling really nostalgic lately. I'd really like to see some stuff like from the new adult time frame from like the 1980s and 90s, early 2000s.
We have to do our New York City.com age thing.
Oh, dude, I've been meaning to write you because I have my idea for that.
Okay, all right. Well,
yes.
we need to get on this. If you guys have missed the first time we had SJ on the air, I swear I was like, I've met this girl before, and then we found out that we sort of did work in the same place at the same time in the same general emerging technology industries for big companies. So I really think that our paths have crossed. And I'm suddenly sort of nostalgic for that time too.
I really am. I'm nostalgic for the 1990s and the early 2000s. I'd really like to see something back then when it was like you had like no cell phone but you were still running around meeting people, like using payphones.
I had a cell phone.
You know what, I did, and I was horrible about using it. So
I also had like a mobile games company in the year 2000, which didn't make a lot of sense to anyone. So we sort of, I had a cell phone, but no one to call.
Yeah, so I'd like to see some like I don't even know what to call it, like recent historical, I guess. I know what you mean, like flashback NA.
When we hear about historic fiction, historic romance, it's usually very thrown back. It's not usually 10 or 20 years. So
Outlander, 1980.
In the year 1570.
Okay, ST, I think you just sent like 25 people tapping to their keyboards with that idea. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm on my wish list. Like, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to see some mashups of like middle grade, young adult, new adult, which sounds kind of weird, but when you think about the books that sort of go between middle grade and adult voices that have been done sort of well, I'd love to see some in the new adult category that way. I mean, obviously you don't want to make it super steamy if you're dealing with middle graders, but I think that, you know, looking at those two times in life are really interesting so far.
Like, are you thinking like the Wonder Years?
Yeah, kind of like the Wonder Years, or what was that movie with, of course I have it on the tip of my tongue, but it was it was a long time ago with Melanie Griffith and Rosie O'Donnell and I don't know. I mean, I'm Now and Then. Do you guys remember that movie? Yeah. Anyway, it was a while ago, but it was like the girls like in their young teens, and then it showed them as like new adults. And I know actually Anne Bashir, she came out with the older version of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. It was like a fourth book that sort of talked about them in their new adult years in a way, you know, that was in line with where the young adult voices were, but showed them later. And I'd love to see, you know, middle grade and new adult are both their times of like such enormous growth, and they're both really scary. So.
Working Girl? Idris Gray is saying Working Girl.
No, not Working Girl.
You know what? I'm thinking a lot about the fact that a lot of new adults take off like a year before they do anything and they travel. That would be also some great books to have.
Oh,
like travel fiction in that age group. You know, meeting people. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing on my wish list, and we've seen a little about this. Jen McLaughlin had done that Spring Break series. I love where you see, and I know Tiffany King has one of these coming out. I love where you see authors who are writing, you know, in the same world, but they're writing totally different books in the same world. I just think that's super fun and kind of unique. And new adult it offers so many opportunities to explore that. You know, you can write so many things about a college campus, or like you could write about gap year, and I think I've heard of a couple projects like that, and I think it just suits this category really well. Those are on my wish list, and we always want to see what you guys have, what you're working on, what you're trying to work on, what's coming down the pike. I really want to thank Lindsay and Kat for helping us out on Twitter tonight, and Chris and SJ and ST for helping us on the air. We've loved talking about this. Trend Watch is always one of my favorite topics, and you know, as we're going into the last quarter of the year, which I find impossible to believe, you know, I think we've learned so much, and there's still a lot to get done before 2015, but I'm excited. What about you guys?
I'm super excited. Let's do this. 2015.
Woo! Not yet, though. Let's enjoy the rest of this one.
And I'm so excited to see everything that the new Ali is going to bring up. SJ, you're so organized, and I want you to run my life, and I just am in awe of all of the tiny little things that are moving together to make this great, amazing new website. So
Well,
I'm
thank you,
super
but you know
excited
what?
about it.
I have to give all the credit to Carrie Butler because
Oh, she's amazing.
she's seriously like she kept me on schedule, not the other way around. So she was on top of everything for this launch, and really it would not the NA Alley would not be anywhere if it were not for her. So.
Well, I'm glad that we're all keeping that resource because it would have been a shame if we couldn't, and I'm even more glad that it's better than ever. That is super exciting. So thank you all for listening tonight. This has been NAlitChat. We've been talking about new adult books. We've been talking about trends, lessons learned, wish lists, where we think the category is going, and we can't wait to see what you guys come out with. This is Amy Evans, and good night, and thank you for listening. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.